Welcome once again to Culinary Thing. And what I've got there is in the background some hangers I'm going to take to the recycling bin. And then I got some cloth back from the cloth cleaners, and that's why they're there. And what I have here is I got in my sink over here, I've got this 3-quart saucepan. What I did was I got a pumpkin about 8.5 inches in diameter. And what I cut that with was an 8-inch knife. And I was able to cut through it with the 8-inch knife, and I scraped all the seeds out there, and I rough chunked the pumpkin to about 2-inch portions, and I put in that 3-quart saucepan there that's in the sink now. And what that is then I add 3 cups of water to that, and 1 cup in raisin, and then what I did was I heated that on medium heat for about 20 minutes until the pumpkin was just nice and soft. And so what I have over here, then I've got a couple of bowls here, and you can see this is the kind of the shape of the pumpkin that had occurred when it was being cooked up there. And there's my finger shape there, so you can see there's my thumb, and you can see about how large that is. And then what I have in this bowl here, some more pumpkin. What I'm doing with this bowl here is I'm just spoon chopping this, so this becomes a smaller portion in my preparation for the particular blender that I have. And this is all soft pumpkin based on the condition and cooking the pumpkin. And I just chop this to a smaller portion. So these portions are, about 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch and smaller. And so that's about done there. And so as the recipe states, an unverified recipe, I'm checking it this year, that I can put in place this kind of fine chop condition that's got the proportions there. It's not really a fine chop, but less than 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch portion with the raisin there. And as it is, I'll put that all in the blender, and then I'll see if it blends. And if it doesn't blend, there's a lot of water in this, as the pumpkin and the raisin soaked up water when it was cooking. And hopefully that'll be enough water in the blender. But if it isn't, and I find that it's not blending quite right, then I'll just add a little water to that. The recipe says that this is wet enough, and it'll turn into a nice pumpkin pie filling puree with the pumpkin and the raisin, because that's what the recipe says it happened last year. So I'm going to be checking that this year and just seeing what happens. So let me set this portion. Here's my blender. I'm going to just set this down for a minute. Plugging in my blender. Get my jar on the blender here. And now what I'm doing is I'm just going to put in this almost like a puree, but not quite, and the pumpkin and raisin in the blender, however many cups it happens to be. And my recipe last year, as it said, it made about 5 cups worth in the pumpkin pie filling. And let's see what this is this year. So getting back to our condition, this is the portion I have in the blender, and that goes to just about the 5-cup level right there. This is 6 here, and that's 5 there. And I'm going to turn this on and just see what happens. I'm going to go to on 1 here and blend this out and see what happens. So that's the condition just with the puree. This blender, as you may know, has kind of smaller blades. It's not quite the same configuration. And in that condition, the food isn't really getting into that portion where it can be blended up like that. So I turn this off. That was on 1. If I put it on pulse, then I can see that that's not really doing the thing that I want it to do. either. So what I'm going to do is just press this down a little and see what that does, and see if that doesn't start the blending portion here to occur. And there it goes. You can see it's blending, it's starting to be blended there. So just need to be pushed down a little. And that pumpkin is going to be pureed then with the raisins. And that's going to be then the pumpkin puree filling that occurs. So that's looking just fine. It's getting there. That portion is blending up on that cycle level 1 there. That's the slowest portion there. I'm just going to give this a stir and turn this off. And I think it's blending this up. This blender can make something that's said to be a dip. And this pumpkin pie filling, as it is, it's like a dip. And so I think that this might be a proper condition that I'm dealing with the blender. So that's blending up more there. It's been stirred, and to see if that top portion doesn't go down to the bottom there. And it's not quite doing that. So it might be that I want to add a little water to that. I think it's starting to do that a little more. It's mostly blending that. So about an inch and a half on top, but didn't quite get blended. So let me give this another stir. And I'll go ahead and turn this back on then. And that's getting blended up. And so this is kind of an intermittent blending with a stir that's occurring. And if I add a little bit of water, then it would be a full blend that would occur there. So anyway, I'm going to add to this now. Now this is kind of a gourmet condition, the state that I'm going to add just a little water. But let's see how much water I could add. If I go to my measuring condition here, and let's see if I can find where it is. Here it is. I got my 1 cup measure here. Actually, that's I was trying to say it was my half a cup measure. And I'm just going to put some water in here so I know how much it was that I'm putting in here. And this ends up being about 2.5 tablespoons as well. I'm just going to stir this in here. So this recipe this year a little bit different than last year, because this recipe has 2.5 tablespoons in water added to the blend. So we'll go ahead and add this here, and we'll put that on there, and we'll cycle down. And then you can see that top portion is now stayed to be blending with the other. So just that little addition in water is having it work out to be just fine, and this will be a consistency that's similar to a dip. Let's go ahead and put this on level 2 there. And we'll see what happens. And level 2 is a little too fast to have that proper blend occur. Each blender, make and model is a little different than another one. And so sometimes recipes need to be adjusted. I had a different blender last year. And so that's getting blended up there at level 1 blend at the point. And I think that's good. good nice blend that occurs there. So that's the end of the recipe. This just goes into a simply storage container. Let's see how much it made this year. Last year it made 5 cups, this year 4, so my pumpkin was a little bit smaller. And yet I found for the particular blender that I had to add a little water, just 2.5 tablespoons, to have the recipe work out. So in this kind of a condition, one state that the cook has the prerogative in adding a little water here and there to a recipe. It's just process, the cook's process, I'm trying to say, making slight adjustments to a recipe to have it, come out the way the thing is supposed to be. Any particular day that the cook's in the kitchen cooking up something and blending it or stirring it or whatever it happens to be. Well, that's this time in culinary thing. I'm just going to be pouring that into a 4-cup simply storage container and putting it in the refrigerator. And I just like eating it plain with a spoon, just as a snack. Pumpkin pie filling. A nice thing to cook up after the pumpkin harvest. That's this time in culinary thing. Be John.